Hi guys, welcome to Mr. Cloudbook channel. Today we are going to discuss about the Gradle project, which is completely on the DevOps only. In this project, I will explain everything from the scratch. So this is the project structure. So the developer commits the changes to the Java source code to a version control system such as a Git. So we use it Git here, and next we use Jenkins CI/CD to trigger and we check out the code from the our source code management tool, which is Git, and we use it this and continuation integration, and we use it the Gradle tool here because we are using the Gradle project. So that's why we need to run the tasks on the Gradle itself. That's why we use it the Gradles here. We are using the compiling tasks on the Java. So that's why we use it Gradle compile and Gradle unit tests here. And later on we will move the code to the Sonarqube to check the any vulnerability scans. Later on we will build the jar application over there. So in order to check the var file or jar file also, I am using the dependency check here where the security comes first. So that's why we use owasp dependency to check the complete code of the var file also. Once the owasp dependency checks completes and it succeeds without any vulnerabilities, we will use this var file. We will build an image using Docker Hub. So we will write a Docker file and we will build the image using the Docker, and we will store the image to our private repository. So in our case, I am using Nexus repository as our private repository. Okay, so later on we will deploy it onto a container. So we will run our application on the container itself. You can see here we will deploy a Gradle Java based application. This is everyday use case scenario by several organizations. This is the complete real-time project, so you can use it on the resume also. I already provided steps here. You can see from the step 1 we have to create a T2 large instance. We have to create T2 large instance because so we will launch the T2 instance as a Jenkins and Sonarqube on itself only. So on the same instance we will install Jenkins and Sonarqube. And step 2, so you can see here we will install Jenkins and Docker and Trivy in our instance. Later on we will create a Sonarqube container using a Docker. So I don't want to waste your time or any amount, so that's why I am taking T2 as a instance type. So it will take one instance to run Jenkins and Sonarqube on itself. Step 3, we will use plugins. We need to install some plugins in order to complete our project. So later on we will do on the 4th step, we will create a project using a declarative pipeline. So and 5th step, we will set up a owasp dependency check, and later on we will install T2 medium instance for Nexus. So for storing our Docker image, right? So we need to install a Nexus repository. So in order to install it, we need T2 medium. So later on we will build image and push to Nexus, and we will deploy to the container, and later on we will access on the real world application. Finally we will remove the every instance using terminate. Okay, so first let me take one Ubuntu mission with the T2 large instance type, and later on we will install directly Jenkins on it. Okay, let's go to the AWS console. So this is my AWS console. So click on EC2. So click on launch instance. Provide any name you want. So I am providing as a Jenkins-Sonar. So select AMI as Ubuntu. So take 22.04. So here I am taking 22.04. So an instance type, I will select T2 large, right? So select T2 large. So you can see here I selected as a T2 large instance type. Later on select key pair. So I am selecting Mumbai, so which is existed in my computer. So in order to security group, select an exiting security group. I already opened some ports, which is 80 and 443 and 22 for SSH connection to the output T. And later on, so 8080 port for Jenkins and 9000 port for Sonarqube and 8081 port for our Nexus repository. I opened already. So select that security group, launch wizard one. Storage as 30 GB, 30. So because free tier is eligible up to 30 GB, you can select up to 30 GB. So later on click on advanced details. We will directly install Jenkins from here only by providing a user data. So I already have a script in my GitHub repository. You can just go to my YouTube notes in GitHub, installation script, jenkins.sh. So just copy the code, right click, copy, and come back to your instance, user data, provide the user data, and just click on launch instance. It will directly install Jenkins to you. Meanwhile, we will connect to the instance. Just go back to the instances. So just select the instance and click on connect. So I'll select for the SSH client and copy the example IP here. You can see ssh.-mumbai. So copy this one and come back to your putty or mobile extreme. So just paste the command and just enter. So it will take up some time, and it will ask for your prompt yes or no. You have to provide yes here to connect to your EC2 instance. So on just provide yes here, enter. So close this and clear the screen. So wait for some time, it will install our Jenkins. So select your instance and copy the public IP address and open new tab and paste the IP with colon 8080 in order to save our Jenkins page. So this is our Jenkins sign in page. So we have to go to your putty. So just you have to provide this command sudo cat space. So otherwise you have the location here. You can just copy this, right click, copy and just paste here, shift insert, enter. So you can see here your password for your Jenkins. Just copy this one and paste it here and just continue. Sorry, let me copy it again. Yeah, paste it again and continue. Never. So you have to download the suggested plugins. Just click on this. So it will install suggested plugins for our Jenkins. So in the meanwhile time, we will install Docker and everything for our Jenkins mission. So you can see here. So even this script will work for installation of Jenkins, but I used my own script for the Jenkins installation. So I already opened 8080 port. So 9000 port for our Docker, Sonarqube itself. So you can see here we already enabled, we already provided the password here, and later on we will see this page. So once completed, installation completed, you will see this page as a main dashboard for our Jenkins. So later we have to install Docker here. So let's go to install Docker. First we have to update it. Sudo apt update the instance, enter. So we have to install Docker, right? Sudo apt install docker dot io-y. It won't prompt for again yes. So it will completely install Docker on our system and clear the screen, Control L. So let's add the user to our Docker group. Sudo user mode add. So -a capital G. So we are adding to Docker group, right? So we have to provide our Docker group name as Docker. So what is the user? Ubuntu is as my user. So just paste that. So just click on enter. So in order to take the effect, we need to provide this new group Docker to take effect to add our user to Docker group. Okay, so just you can see provide the just command Docker ps. It won't deny and clear the screen, Control L. So we need to enable this system, sudo systemctl enable Docker. So it will run in the background also. Okay, so later on we will sudo chmod 777/var/run command. So docker.socket. So enter. So we are using this command to provide every user to complete permissions in order to run our Docker commands. Okay, so that's why we need to provide this command sudo chmod 777/var/run docker.socket. We are giving permission to this docker.socket to everyone. So root, users and group, everyone I am giving permission to this particular docker.socket. So it won't get any permission denied from now on. We need to run the Sonarqube, right? So so you can see here we installed Docker up to here. So we use it the same commands. So sudo user mode -a az docker user run just container. So copy this one. It will directly install a container. So it will directly run a container for us. So come back and paste the command here. So you can see here docker run -d-nom. So we provided name as Sonar. So Sonarqube which runs on 9000 ports. That's why we expose it to 9000. So and this is the Sonarqube official image. Okay, just enter. So it will download official image from the Docker Hub and it will run the container to us. Come back to your Jenkins dashboard. You can see here. So I'm just skipping this and continuing as a admin. Yeah, save and finish and start using Jenkins. You need to change the admin password here. So in order to change that, you need to come top right here. So admin here, beside the logout section. So click on the arrow. So come to configure. So come down. So in the password section, you need to change the password here. Double click here and clear it and provide a password you want. Just tab and confirm the password. Apply first and later on save it. So don't save first before apply and later save it. So just remove this and enter again. So just provide the username as admin and your password here. Enter. So this is the Jenkins dashboard. Okay. So we already completed the running of our Sonarqube also. So you can see our container is running started. So in order to see it's running or not, you have to provide the Docker PS command. So you can see here container is running Sonarqube LTS long-term support with the name of Sonar. So just copy the public IP or we can copy this address because both the Jenkins and Sonarqube running on the same instance, right? Just paste it here and remove 8080. So just provide 9000 here. Just enter. It will take 1 minute to come up. We up to here we completed. So later on we will see this as our main Sonarqube dashboard. Okay, come back and you have to log into your Sonarqube. So first it's admin and the password is also admin. So everything is small letters only. Enter. So we have to change password here. Old password is admin. Give admin and you have to provide new password for yourself. Enter. So this is the Sonarqube page. So we need to integrate our Sonarqube with Jenkins. So we need to create a Sonarqube token. So in order to create a Sonarqube token, we have to click on the administration and later on click on security and later on click on users. So you have to come here. So you see here groups and tokens. So click on this tab. So update tokens. Just click on it. So enter a name. So I am entering as a Jenkins here. So just click on generate and copy this one and come back to dashboard. So you have to add this credential to the Jenkins. So we have to add the credential. We have to go to manage Jenkins. So in the security section, we need to click on the credential tab. So on system and global credentials. So add credential. So we need to select kind as a seek text. Provide the password here and name as Sonar token. So we are giving Sonar token as the ID. Copy it and provide the description also same and create it. So we need to add a quality get also, right? So just copy the Jenkins IP address. Copy. So come back to your Sonarqube. Just close this one. So and copy it, paste it somewhere else. So we need to click on administration again and click on configuration. We have to create a webhook for our quality gate. So just click on webhook here. So create. So we have to provide any name you want. So just provide Jenkins. You have to provide the URL of your Jenkins dashboard up to 8080 slash and after slash we have to provide Sonarqube webhook and we have to provide this arrow. So sorry, slash at the end. Create. Come back to your main Jenkins dashboard here. So we need to install Trivy. So this is the main dashboard of our Sonarqube, right? So later on we have to install Trivy here. Just copy this one, right click, copy, come back to your instance. We need to provide. So we will create a file with the shell script. So vi trivy.sh, enter and paste the content. Copy, paste. We'll install Trivy to our system. Escape. shift:/wq, enter. We need to provide sudo chmod 777 trivy.sh, enter. So we are providing executable permission to this file. So just provide /trivy.sh, enter. So it will install Trivy for our instance. Trivy also completed. We need to install some plugins to our Jenkins machine. In order to install it, you go to the Jenkins dashboard and click on manage Jenkins. So click on plugins. So you have to click on available plugins. Search for, first of all we need to install Java, right? So click select search for Eclipse and you have to select this one, Eclipse Tamarind installer for Java. click on it, select that one, and later on we need to install Sonarqube, right? Just search for Sonar and you have to download this plugin, Sonarqube scanner plugin, and we need to install we need to check owasp dependency check, right? So we need to provide owasp in the search box. So we need to select these two check boxes here, owasp dependency check here, and we need to dependency track also, we need to check that one. So we need to install Docker plugin, so we will do that later. Okay, so first of all install this, install. In case you want to restart the Jenkins after the installation, just click on this checkbox. I don't want to do that. So come back to your manage Jenkins. We need to add our tools in order to complete our plugins installation to integrate with our Jenkins. So click on tools. So we are adding Java, right? So we need Java to run our project. So that's why we need to add JDK installation, add JDK. So provide the name. So I am providing JDK 11. So provide whatever your name you want. So just click on this checkbox, install automatically. So and add installer. So install from adaptem.net. You have to select that one. So in order to run this project, we need Java 11th version. So select that 11th version here. Okay, 11.0.20.1 plus 1. So we are going to run the project on Gradle, right? So we have to select add Gradle here. Add Gradle. So name, whatever the name you want to provide. So I'm just providing a Gradle and select the version as Gradle 7.61. So in order to add any Maven installation, you can add here. So basically we are running the Gradle project, right? I don't want to add any Maven installation here. So we need to add Sonarqube scanner installation also. So select. So you can see here Sonarqube scanner installation. So click on add Sonarqube scanner. So just to provide the name, so as Sonar-scanner, select the latest version. Okay, so dependency check. So owasp dependency check, we need to install a tool for that one. So add, so provide the name as dp-check. So install automatically, add installer. So select from install from github.com. So we need to select 6.5.1 version, apply. So you can see here I added JDK here, JDK 11, and Gradle installation here, Gradle with the name and version is a 7.6.1. And later on we added the tool Sonarqube scanner tool here, and finally we added dependency check tool here. So just click on save. So we need to add 4 tools in the tool section for the Maven and Java, for Gradle and Java, and later on we need to add a owasp dependency tool also and Sonarqube tool also. So we need to configure our system, right, with our Sonarqube. So we need to select the system. So we added the tool only, we not yet configured the Sonarqube. So in order to configure, we have to click on the configure and configure system. So in system, come down. So you can see here Sonarqube servers. So you can see here Sonarqube installations. We need to add our public repository and key to our Sonarqube, right? So this is the public IP address of our Sonarqube. Just copy this one and come to instance, add Sonarqube in tool section, provide the name as sonar-server and provide the URL control V. So with the 9000 and server authentication token. So we added credentials before. So just click on it, we will see Sonar token. Just select that one and come down and just apply and save. Sonarqube integration is completed. So let's go back to our. So in order to create a job, we can create a job here from the direct pipeline, but later we will do that. So fourth step. So configure Sonar server in manage Jenkins. So you can see the every step here. So click on administration security users to create the token. So later on go to the dashboard manage Jenkins credential section. So add as a secret text for our Sonarqube credential. So go back to your dashboard and manage Jenkins configure system. So we present now it's only system, not the configure system. So we need to add the Sonarqube server name and provide the public IP address of your Sonarqube dashboard. And later on we have to select the token we added before. So later on we need to configure the system. So we need to global is the tool configuration. So in order to complete Sonarqube check, we need a tool. So Sonarqube tool, right? So that's why in the tool section we added Sonarqube as a latest version with the name of the Sonar server. So we need to install owasp dependency. We already did that. So we installed a plugin owasp dependency, and we already provided that. So you can see here with the name of dp check. So provide the version of 6.5.1, you can see. So 6.5.1 and dp check as a name. Up to this one we completed. Later on we need to install a Nexus repo. Come back to your instances, AWS console. So in order to save our Docker images to our Nexus repository, we need a Nexus repository. So we need a new instance. So click on launch instance. So in the name section, you have to provide any name you want. I am just providing the Nexus. So and number of instances, select one, and select the AMI as Ubuntu. Take 22.04. Select the instance type as T2 medium. So because it will run on the T2 medium only, so otherwise it won't run. So select the T2 medium as an instance type. Select the key pair you want. I have already Mumbai key pair. And existing security group. Select the launch wizard one. So we need 2280 and 8081 port for this Nexus repository. So select up to 20. So just launch instance and come back to instance, it will launch. So wait for some time, it will take to by instance check. So select the instance, so click on connect. You have to copy the SSH client, copy, and come back to your putty. So add a new tab or just click on duplicate tab. So just paste the command you copied. So enter. You can see here I already provided the prerequisites for our Nexus repository. So 4 CPUs is maximum required, but we are using as a 2 CPUs in this video, 20 GB storage. So that's why we took T2 medium as the instance type here. Okay, so we need to install Java 8 on it. So just go and click on clear the screen and update it. Sudo apt update. Enter. So come back here. So once update, we need to install 8th version of Java. So copy this command, sudo apt install openjdk 8. Copy. Right click, copy. So everything you can read here from here also. Clear the screen and paste the command. I am providing here only -y, enter. So it will install the 8th version of Java. So we can confirm it by providing this command, Java version. We need to provide the ulimit for 6536. So max open files for our both Nexus and Linux user. So that's why we need to add this one user. So first we need to add a user to Nexus. Let's come back and clear the screens once confirm it's installed or not. Java version. Enter. You can see here it's installed 1.8.0 3.82. So we need to add user, Nexus user. Just copy the command, right click, copy, right click and paste, enter. And we need to create a password for the user. Right click, copy, paste, enter, and provide a password, enter. So cursor won't move, just provide password and enter. So next set the limit to 65,536. So providing this command. So we need to provide this command to set the u limit. Just paste it, enter, come back. So to set up u limit permanently, so we just provided normally up to this point. We need to completely provide this permanently. So just go to this folder, file, sudo nano, and we have to add this file name. So right click and paste, come inside of this one, and we need to add this line, Nexus no file 65,536 as a no limit. So just paste it here, Ctrl X, Ctrl Y and enter. And in case you want to see it's there or not, you can provide just this command, copy, just paste it. You will see that u limit here. You can see open file size equals to 65,536 and clear the screen, Ctrl L. And we need to download the Nexus repository. By the time I am using the old version 3.4.1. So if you want to use latest version, you can use the latest version also. Just copy this one, just paste it here. It will download the tar file of our Nexus repository. we need to unzip this one by using this command sudo tar-xzdf. It will unzip everything. So you have to provide the sudo compulsory. So just paste the command, enter. So 1 minute, provide the wrong command, I think. Yeah, I forgot it, gz. Just copy. So Control L and paste, enter. So it will unzip every file. So you can see here providing ls. So every file is unzipped here. You can see. So this is the zipped file, and this one is the unzipped file. Okay. So come back. So next move these extracted directories to opt folder. We have created an Nexus user to opt directory, right? So that's why we need to provide these two commands. Just copy the commands and right click and paste. Okay, enter and come back. So we have to provide the ownership to our Nexus user to completely to the opt and Nexus folder. So just paste it command here, enter. Complete ownership is provided. So next we need to provide the nano editor, and we have to edit the nexus.rc file. We need to uncomment this name, and we need to provide the Nexus as a user. So just copy this, just copy and paste the command, and we need to uncomment this one. Uncomment, we need to provide the Nexus and in double quotes. Just provide Nexus. Okay, you can see it's Nexus here. So Control X and Control Y and enter. So up to this point we completed. Later on we need to increase our memory for the Nexus repository. Just copy the command, right click and copy. So paste it here, enter. So we need to comment these lines, all these lines. So I will do that and I will come back once. Wait for 1 minute. So you can see here I comment level 11 with as. So come back to here and select after 2048, click on enter, and come back to your file and copy this one and provide this one there. So sorry, copy everything clearly, right click, copy and paste it here, right click and paste. Okay, so we need to provide like this. So we need to comment every line here up to here. Okay, so just escape, please shift to colon and W to enter. So next we need to run this Nexus as a systemd service. We need to provide this command and we need to edit the file as the below with the below lines. So paste the command, enter and copy these commands. Unit up to unit and target we need to comment in star. Okay, so right click and paste here. Okay, so we need to copy like this and click on Control X and Control Y and enter. So we need to start the every system here. Sudo systemctl. First we need to reload, and next we have to start the Nexus service, and we need to enable the service in order to run in the background. So daemon is reloaded and Nexus service start. Right click and paste, enter. So Nexus service, right click, copy, right click and paste, enter. So we enabled our Nexus service, and finally you can see the status of our Nexus, enter. So you can see Nexus is active and running. Control C and clear the screen, Control L. Okay, so just copy the IP address here. From here we can directly click on EC2 instance connect, copy the Nexus public IP. So you can see here I am copying the Nexus IP address. Just copy, open a new tab and provide Control V and colon 8081, enter. So it will take 1 or 2 minutes to come up. Yeah, you can see. So Nexus repository is loading here. Base app is loading as a production.js. So we need to sign in, right? So click on sign in here in the top right. So click sign in. So basically the admin user is admin. So username is admin, and we need to copy this one path. So basically our password is stored at here. Just copy this one and sudo cat and insert the path. So you can see here the password is here up to here Ubuntu. Sorry, 1 minute. Right click, copy the password, come and paste here in the password section, sign in, never. So and click on next. So we need to provide the new password for our Nexus and confirm it and click on next and enable anonymous access next and never, finish. So this is the complete installation of the Nexus. So it will is telling that there is a Sonar type is Nexus repository 3.59 is available now. So I just want to continue with this one only. So this is the complete dashboard of the Nexus repository. I want to continue with the 3.4.1 only. If you want to run 3.5.9, it's the latest version. So that's also works fine. So now there is no problem with that. So completely it's completed. So later on we need to install some Docker plugins and we need to add our Docker credentials also. Let's go do that first. So and come back to our Jenkins dashboard. So click on manage Jenkins and come back to plugins and you have to go to the available plugins. So search for the Docker. So select the Docker and Docker commands and Docker pipeline and Docker API and Docker build step and just install them. So come back to manage Jenkins. So we need to add a credentials of our Docker. So in the manage Jenkins section, click on the security tab. You have to select the credentials and click on system and global credentials and add credentials. We need to add our Docker Hub credentials with username and password. You have to provide the username as your Docker Hub username. So my Docker Hub username is 7ajay and I have to provide the Docker Hub password here. So my username is 7ajay and we need to provide the Docker Hub password here. So in order to, if you want to create any personal access tone, that will also work fine, but I will provide direct password here. Okay, so provide the ID as a Docker here and description also as a Docker and create. So in order to integrate with Docker, we need to provide the Docker tool also. So in the tool section, we need to add the Docker. So come deep down. So you can see, now we can see Docker installations. Click on add Docker. We have to provide as a Docker here and select this one, add installer, download from docker.com. You have to continue with the latest version, apply and save. We completed every setup up to now. Let's create the project for our pipeline. Let's go and click on new item and provide a name. So I am going with the Gradle here and click on the pipeline and click on OK. So provide the description for your project. I am providing the Gradle project here. So this is optional and not mandatory. And select on discard old bills. So this is also optional. I just wanted to add. So number of days to keep bills. So I will keep as 1 day and maximum bills. I need 3 bills to keep maximum up to. And here we have to run our pipeline script. So I want to generate the pipeline syntax also. So that's why I need this pipeline syntax generator. So it will open in the new tab. You can see. So this is the snippet generator for our pipeline script. I will write my complete pipeline in the Visual Studio and let's open it. So every time we start pipeline, we will start with the pipeline within the brackets enter. We need to provide the agent for our Jenkins to where it run. As of now, we don't have any agents for the Jenkins, so that's why we are going with any. So it will run on the master only. We need to add tools section. So to tell that Java Gradle app to install these tools to run our application, to do the build and to compile compile the project. So tools section we added JDK, right? So JDK, we have to provide the name for that one, JDK 11. So I will explain where is the tools we are provided. So what names we are providing. So Gradle as a Gradle. Okay. So let's save for this one. So these are the tools I am using here. So we need JDK 11 for our project. That way I am using JDK 11 and we need Gradle for our Gradle project. That's why I am using tool as a Gradle here. So you can come back to your main pipeline. So come back to your dashboard. 1 minute, let me save it. Apply and save, and come back to dashboard and go to manage Jenkins section. So in the tool section, you can see here at JDK installations, I use it as JDK 11 here. At the Gradle section, you can see I use it name here as a Gradle. That's why I use it here. Tool as a Gradle. We need to write stages for our projects. So stages. Within the stages, we have to write every stage which stage we want. Okay. Let me add the stage 1. So within the bracket single quotes, I want to clean my workspace every time the build starts. Clean workspace within the brackets, and within the stage we have the steps section. Enter. So let's write clean ws within the brackets. That's the first stage. And the second stage, I want to check out code from the GitHub repository itself. So let's add that stage also. Stage within the brackets, check out from SCM. Okay, brackets and steps. I need to use the snippet generator to check out my code. Come back to your browser. So let's wait for 1 minute. So come back to your snippet generator and copy your project repository URL. So code copy. So this is the main branch, you can see. Come back to snippet generator. At the sample step, you have to select git here. So git you can select git, or you can directly select checkout from version control. So I am going with the git and git. So you have to provide the URL of your project. So this is my project URL, and branch is main. So just provide main here, and we need to generate it. So click on generate and copy the code here, and copy. Come back to your Visual Studio and paste the code, and we have to add another stage for our compilations. So it will check out code, complete code to our Jenkins repository. Next we need to compile the code. So Gradle compile. So let me explain some of errors what we encountered during this project. So stages, steps. Within the steps, I need to run the project in the shell script. Sh within the space shell script, we need to run the project with the .gradle w compile java. We need to mention like that. So just save this project, and I will add another stage also. You can see stage test. So single quotes test Gradle. We need to do these both for unit test, and we have to compile the project. That way we need to do both. So within the step section, sh single quotes dot Gradle w just provide test here. So next we need to do the Sonarqube stage, right? So within this, add Sonarqube analysis as a stage name. Let's go to the stage section into the steps. So we have to use the snippet generator here to generate our code. So again, come back to your snippet generator. You have to select with Sonarqube env at the end. You can see with Sonarqube and env here, prepare Sonarqube scanner environment. So select on it. We have to select our Sonarqube authentication token here. So I already provided the token, right? So just click on Sonar token, and you will get this kind of warning. So we have to use the script for that also. So just generate on it. So you will get this code and copy it. Right click and copy, and we have to use it in the script. That's why it's providing through error. We don't want to get error, right? So that's why we need to run this code in the script section and enter. In the script section, we have to provide the copied code. So remove the some block also, delete the block and provide tab. So we need to run the Sonarqube command here using sh within the brackets dot Gradle w space Sonarqube to analysis our complete code. So next we need to run the quality gates also, right? Let me add some comments. So we have to provide the quality gate here. So let me add the generate the code from snippet generator. Come back to our snippet generator and we have to select the timeout for our quality gate. So just select this timeout, enforce time limit, select that one and provide the time up to 10 minutes. I want 10, so you have to select the unit here. So you can see nanoseconds, microseconds. I want minutes, so I want to select the minutes. So I will wait for 10 minutes. So the Sonarqube will wait for 10 minutes to check the code completely and provide the okay whether the project is working fine or not, whether the code is good or not. So we'll just select the generate pipeline script. So this is the code for us. Copy the code here and paste it here. Control V. So I will align properly. Wait for 1 minute. So I will alter this code little bit. 1 minute. I will write this timeout code within the block. So this will also work, but I want to make it clear for everyone. So within the brackets, you have to write like this. That way you can understand easily. So timeout is setting up to 10 minutes. So we are providing, last time we provided just timeout within the brackets 10. That's not looking so good. That's why I want to change like this. So we have to run within the brackets. We need to run the code timeout. So it will check out. So I want to define. I want to define in small letters. Define. So queasy. Queasy means quality gates is equals to wait for quality. So you have to write in capital letters. So F is in capital letter and Q also Z. So otherwise it will throw error. Wait for quality gate. It will wait for the quality gate. Enter. So if we have to write the condition here, if queasy. So what is the queasy? Our quality gate dot status. Our status of the quality gate is not equals to. In case it's not okay, it's not passed, so it will throw error. Okay, within the brackets. So I need this error. So if the quality gate is not equals to okay, so then I need this kind of error. So what is the error? Error pipeline is aborted due to quality gate failure. Aborted due to quality gate failure. We have to provide the status also within the dollar. We have to call the queasy dot status, that's we defined within the if block. Okay, you can see we defined everything here from. So we set the timer up to 10 minutes. So we defined the quality gate, wait for quality gates. It will check, it will wait for the quality gate time up to, and once the status is not okay, that then it will throw this error, quality gate error. The pipeline is aborted due to failure. So everything good. We need to add our owasp dependency check block here. So before doing owasp dependency check, I need to build the file. Okay, so we need to build the var file first. So we need to build build Gradle. So Gradle, build anything you want, you can keep. I'm just going with the stage build Gradle. So steps sh dot Gradle w build. Okay, this is the stage, and we need to write another stage for owasp dependency check. I don't want to waste the time, so I already provided the code here. So just go and copy that the code at the end of this file. I will explain this code clearly. So stages, copy and come back to your okay. So you can see stage used owasp dependency check. So it will check every code here. It will scan everything. It will generate our report in the HTML format. So ODC installation. Our dependency installation name is dpcheck. You can see here within the tool section. So then you can see dependency check installations. So I provided the name as dp-check. So that's why I used here dp-check. In case you used another name, so we have to provide that name here. So and this will publish our report to this particular path as a HTML format name. So this is the stage up to we have to build. So what it will do is first stage it will clean up the workspace clearly, and the next stage it will check out the code, and the next stage this will compile every code in the our project, and it will test the every unit test for our Gradle project. So this will check our code completely, analysis every analysis it will complete with it will check every bugs, every vulnerabilities, every code smells, every duplication of lines within the code, and this will check out, this will build our var file to our project, and finally we will again recheck the complete code of the project. So for the extra vulnerabilities, before we don't have the build file, so after building this particular stage only we will get the var file. So I wanted to check that particular var file also. That's why I added the owasp dependency check here. Okay, so I this will won't run. That's why I will explain clearly when come back. So basic error we will do here. So just copy it, come back to your dashboard and go to the manage Jenkins. So go back to your system once. At the Sonarqube installations, you can see at Sonarqube server, you don't have to provide the slash at the end of this part. Okay, you have to provide like this only up to 9000. Don't provide the slash, otherwise it will throw error. Apply and select our Gradle project and configure. So still it won't run because we don't provide the execute permissions to our Gradle. So that's why it will throw error. So I just wanted to show the error. That's why I'm just providing the code. Come down to the project script and paste our script. You can see Gradle W build Gradle everything. I am just provided the works fine. This will works fine, but we need to provide the executable permission to Gradle. I don't provide it, so this is the basic error we will do in the project. So that's why I'm just wanted to show the error. So first save, apply it and save it and build it first. So we will see the error whether it's coming or not. So because we needed to provide the executable permissions to our Gradle. So you can see our first build is failed. You can go to the build and console output. You can see. So no credentials is specified and cloning Git repository up to Git repository it succeeded. Okay. So Gradle is permissions is denied. So we need to add executable permissions to our Gradle W. So that's why it will run completely. Otherwise it won't run. It will throw the error compile Java. Okay. So you can see our Gradle project is succeeded up to checkout code. After the Gradle compilation, we need to provide the executable permissions. I just wanted to show the error. That's why sh within the single quotes. Sorry, we have to provide the chmod plus x executable permission. Chmod plus x Gradle W. We need to copy this code. Sorry, copy the complete code here. So I wanted to run on the every stage. Okay, within this Gradle, paste that Gradle executable, and within this also in the Gradle build. Okay, Control S. Now it will work fine without any error. Okay, just copy it code and come back to your Jenkins dashboard and configure again, and come down and copy the complete code and delete it and paste again. You can see now I provided chmod plus x Gradle w. I provided the executable for the Gradle now. So it apply and save and build now. You can see the Gradle compile will run now fine without any error. Okay, you can see, yeah, it's getting the still some error. Okay, so come back, see, yeah, still it's showing the permission is denied Gradle w. Okay, no need to worry about that. Apply, save. And what is the console output? Let's go to the console output once. Yeah, chmod executable permission is completed. Some candidates are compile Java. Okay, I'm getting error with compile Java. Build fail. And come back to code. Yeah, it's compile. I wrote the wrong error. Sorry, it's compile. I wrote compile, so that's the error. Come back to your code and configure. Come down to the code, and you can see I wrote double O here. We need one O only. So apply and save and build again. So executable permission is fine, working fine, but the error within the code only. So compile. I wrote a double O. Now you can see its Gradle compile is working fine. Yeah, its Sonarqube analysis has also completed, and go to our Sonarqube. Oh, sorry, this is our Sonarqube, right? So click on projects. You can see our responsive website project is here. So 32 seconds ago we analysis. So there is one code smell and there are no bugs here, no vulnerabilities found. So it read 28 lines. Okay, and you can see a build Gradle file is also completed and owasp dependency check is going on. So after we build Gradle, we need to build our Docker image, right? So in order to create Docker image, we need a Docker file. I already wrote the Docker file, you can see here. So this is the main Docker file for our project. I used from OpenJDK 11. So as a base, so we are using a multi-stage Docker file here. So that's why I used this first base as a base. So first stage as a base. So we need Java 11th version to run our project, to build our project. That's why I used base image as a OpenJDK 11. So and I already set the work directory as an app, every code to the our app folder, and we are providing the executable permissions, otherwise it won't run. So after that we are building our project. So where our var file is built here by the command Gradle build. Okay, so later on we are deploying this var file into our Tomcat app. So I use it base image as a Tomcat 9. So work directory I set as a web apps. So in the web apps only we have a root.var file basically. So it will show our main page of our Tomcats. So we are copying every file from base to app, build, libs and my web var. So our var file will generate at here. So within the builds tab, within the builds folder, within the libs libraries, my app.var file will generate. It will copy it to dot means we are copying it to webapps folder, and we are removing the root file here, and we are moving means we are replacing myapp.var into root.var. Okay, you can see here I am just replacing name here. I wanted to change myapp.var into root.var. So mv command also moves the file and so changes the name also. Okay, so we are exposing it to 8080 and cmd to run our application catalina.sh. So it will build our Docker image. Let's go to our Jenkins pipeline. So this will looks good, working fine. Yeah, you can see our third build is succeeded. We need to push our Docker image into Nexus repository, right? So we need to go to our Nexus repository. So expired, cancel. Okay, so we are already in admin, you can see here. So click on Gearbox and select repositories here, and you need to create a repository to store our image. So we need a Docker hosted repository. So just click on create repository and select Docker hosted and Docker group. Both are available here, but we need Docker hosted. So select on it. So and provide a proper name you want. So I am just giving Docker repo. It works fine. And you need to select this checkbox, HTTP checkbox. Okay. And provide any port you want. I am just providing 8083. So 8083 enough. If you want to provide any other port, that will also works fine, and nothing to worry about that. And then come to down and just create repository. So our repository is created with the name of Docker repo. You can see here also. I provided the guide. Yeah. So in Nexus, click on gear button, click on repositories, create repository with the Docker hosted. So provide a name and provide 80803 port. So you can see most of the cases everyone recommend to use 8083 port only. So once we set up this project, we need to add this particular Docker hosted repository into insecure registries. Otherwise, it won't pull the image to our Jenkins machine. So that's why we needed to add our this particular Nexus hosted repository into our insecure registry. We need to set up insecure registry for our Jenkins to push image and pull image to our Jenkins pipeline or Jenkins machine. To do that, we need to edit this file in the Jenkins machine. We need to edit this file, a particular file, etc docker daemon.json file, to add details of our Nexus Docker hosted repository. So with this only we can pull our image and we can push our image to our Docker hosted repository, which is present in the Nexus. Okay, so that's why we need to add this insecure registries to our Jenkins mission compulsory, and this one is mandatory to set this as a insecure registries. And clear the screen. You can see Docker info here. Yeah, you can see there is no insecure registries. We are only one insecure registry, which is 127.0.0.8. So we need to add the private repository which is hosted on the Nexus, right? So that's why we need this particular file path. So copy the path here, right click, copy, come back to your Jenkins machine, sudo, you have to provide vi, shift insert, enter. We need to create a new file in the Docker folder as a daemon.json and copy the particular one, insecure registries, copy it and come back to your here to the machine and paste it. So we need to remove this particular Nexus IP up to Nexus IP. Sorry, insert mode, come to insert mode and remove this Nexus mission IP. And we need to provide the public IP address of our Nexus. So copy the public IP up to here, Control C, come back to your machine and paste it here, shift insert and remove the slash also, otherwise it will throw error, and remove HTTP also. Okay, so just click on escape and shift to colon WQ. So you need to provide like this insecure registries Nexus repo with 8083 post. With 8083 port, I provided the 8083 port only. If you provided any other port rather than 8083, you have to provide that port for our Docker repo which is hosted in the Nexus. Enter. Okay, so we need to restart our system to take effect. Sudo systemctl restart Docker. Okay, so now you can see in the Docker info you will find two IP address as a insecure registry. This is our Nexus IP which is we added as a insecure registries. Okay, you can see systemctl restart. So we can provide this particular command to see whether we can directly log into our Nexus or not from our Jenkins machine. Okay, so Control L and provide the Docker login -u as a admin, user as admin. I wanted to provide the IP address of our Nexus repository. So provide this one and shift insert. Okay, so sorry, there is an error here, so 200, clear that one. Yeah, so we have to provide like this in order to log into our Nexus repository from our Jenkins mission. So once we have to check whether it's working or not, so just provide docker login -u admin, and we have to provide the particular path of a particular IP address of our Docker repo which is hosted in the Nexus, and enter. You have to provide the password. So password for your Nexus repo, Nexus only. Enter. You can see we are succeeded login. You have to provide your Nexus IP address. Sorry, we have to provide the Nexus password here. So what is your username? Username is admin. So already you changed your new password, right? You have to provide the password here for our Docker repo which is hosted in the Nexus. So we are succeeded in the login. So let's go and write for. We need to add credential before that in order to generate a new script, new stage for our pipeline. Go back to our Jenkins mission and go back to dashboard and manage Jenkins and select credentials. You have to select system and global credentials, add credentials, select username with secret text only. So I don't want to add user admin here. I just only add the password only. So just add password of your Nexus. I am just adding my password, and you have to provide the Docker underscore pass here, and description also you can provide Docker underscore pass. So otherwise you can provide Nexus pass also, but I wanted to go with the Docker pass only because we are using as a Docker repo, right? So that's why just create. Okay, so and go back to your pipeline syntax generator and just once refresh it and come back to your stage, and we need to add a new stage here. Stage within the codes build and push to, so build and push to Nexus. It will we are going to build file here, right? So within the stage we need steps, we need script also to run this particular stage, and go back to our snippet generator, and we need to select with environment variables and bind variables. You can see, yeah, with credentials and bind credentials to variable. So select that one and add bindings as a secret text. We use it secret text for our Docker repository, right? So select our Docker pass here and provide any name you want. I am just going with the Docker password as a variable. So our Nexus password will be stored at here. So and just generate this one and copy this path, and I will align with it. So just paste it here and align it properly. So within the shell script I am going to write multi-stage shell script. So that's why you need to provide 3 dots like that, and you can write directly docker build. We use docker build, right? Docker build -t. We need to build image here. So that's why we are using the command docker build -t. So we need the private, public IP address of our Nexus repository. Copy. So copy it from up to 8083 / you need to provide Gradle 1 and latest as your image name and dot for our Docker file. Where is our Docker file is present, right? We have to tell that here only. So that's why we are providing a dot, and we need to log in to push our code. Docker login -u as a admin. Our username is admin, right? -p. So within the password section I need to call this one. So our Nexus password is stored here, right? So just copy this one, right click, copy. So we need to call dollar and paste it here, Docker password, and we need our particular IP address to login. Copy this one and paste it here, and next we need to push our image, Docker push. So what is the image name? This is the image name we are building. So up to latest we can select, copy it, and we need to provide here, and we need to close with 3 dots. Okay, so okay, this will build our image and push it to our Nexus repository, which is stored at here. So you can check again. So 43 204 230 235, so whether it's not the IP address or not, you can see 43 204 and 235.20. so this is our Nexus IP repository, and you can see here I provided 8083 because where my Docker repo is hosted, it hosted in the 8083 port only. So next stage, I want to deploy to container. I don't want to waste time. So within the containers, deploy to container. Okay, within the brackets, sorry, Control Z. So outside we need to cover. So I just wanted this step section completely. Copy up to here, right click, copy and paste it here, and remove this code only shell script code, delete, and we need to provide sh docker run a container -d name as a Gradle one, so I am providing g1, and -p port 8082 I need to run, so which is running on the 8080. Our image is exposed to 8080, right? So that's why I am providing 8080, which is exposed to 8082, and we need to provide the image name here. So our image name is here 43.204/ copy it, right click, copy, and provide here, Control V. So this will run the container, and this will build our stage. So this will build our image, and it will push to our Nexus repository, and this will run our container, and we can see our application in the browser. And then this is the complete project for our application today. Right click and copy, come back to your Jenkins mission. So you can see in the cube box, you can go to the browser and you can select Docker repo. So no components is found here. So once this image is built, we can see our image here. Go to your system and come back to your dashboard and select the Gradle project, and again configure, and come down and Control and delete the code, and Control V. You can see stage deploy to container, everything is looking good. Apply and save. So let's build the code. So build now. So build is scheduled. This will build our Docker image, and it will push it to our Nexus repository, where our Docker is stored as a private repository, and we are pulling that image from the private repository to container. Also we can see the output of our image. So you can see our Sonarqube analysis is getting error, so logs cannot be reached. Okay, let's go and refresh again. Yeah, we restarted our Docker, right? So that's why it's throwing the error. So just restart our Docker start Sonar. We need to restart our Sonar. So at when we added the insecurities, we restarted Docker. So that's why our Sonar is also stopped. So that's why we needed to restart it again. And 1 minute, let's restart. So it will take 1 minute. So and again build now our project. Yeah, Gradle and build now. It stopped because our Sonarqube and Jenkins on the same machine, right? So whenever we restart our Docker, we need to start it again, our Sonarqube particularly. So that's why it's throwing error here. So no need to worry about that. Our code is working fine. No need to worry about that. You can see here our image is pushed to Nexus repository, and it's deployed to container also. Let's go to our repository, Nexus repository, and see whether the image is coming or whether image is pushed or not. And you can go Docker repo, and you can see our image is here. So with the latest tag. So let's copy our public IP address. This is the public IP address, right, of our Jenkins machine. Copy it and open a new tab and Control V, and we are exposed it to 8082. and enter. You can see our application is coming. So living the social life, you can click on about me. You can go to the recent posts also. So this is the complete project structure we are to did till now. So thanks for watching the video and keep on support.